So are the profession talent trees and Ashes of Creation too basic? Well, yes. But so is anything else in the starts of the very early alpha of Ashes of Creation. So let me explain a little bit. When we saw, the character creator in the Alpha 1 preview, we all knew that that wasn't the actual character creator we were going to get, towards the launch of the game, and there was going to be heavy iterations on this character creator. As to this, talent tree that we saw in this preview for the artisanships, I know that this is not the end all be all talent tree that we're going to end up getting. I just kind of wanted to give my feedback and kind of my wants and desires and hopes of what the talent tree can evolve into. And there are some things that Concordian Slurp, aka Corey, did say that we were going to be able to do with the talent system. One being that a Grand Master is going to be able to fill out the entire talent tree. So let me start there. I don't know if I particularly like that. And the way I was actually trying to make a talent tree to kind of show a little bit of how in depth I kind of wanted this talent tree to be, because Ashes is going to have a lot of decisions that I think are going to go in very niche bases within each of the 22 talent professions, or 22 professions. When it comes to gathering, specifically, let's say herbalism, I want you to be able to specifically niche down to be able to pluck certain herbs, or even during certain times of day. Maybe you want to specialize in nighttime herbs compared to daytime. Maybe you want to specialize into winter herbs compared to any of the other seasons. The reason why I like this is because the more niche these professions can be at the Grandmaster level, the better it's going to be that guy on the server that specializes on a herb that is only done at night and only in the winter. So when that time comes, you shine because you put that effort in and you put those specific talent points in the tree to that degree. That's sort of like my vision. I want there to be choices that are going to be very hard pressed for you to make once you see this very elaborate talent tree for the professions. And I want there to be certain branches that go off in one direction, another that goes into another, and then another goes into another. And maybe there's like 4 different categories that you would want to go into for armor smithing, for carpentry. You basically can choose, well, I can go all the way up to this particular pinnacle point, and then I can go a little bit into this category tree, and that's it. Those are all of my talent points spent. But you have all of these other categories that are not even there, but you're like, oh man, it'd be really cool if I could go there. And that's the kind of decision making I really want to have. I want there to be a lot of really robust options for you being a Grand Master, but I don't want Grand Masters to feel like a carbon copy of one another. If you make a bunch of general or generalized talent choices, then we're all basically the same thing in the end game. And I feel like there's a lot of professions in other MMORPGs that have kind of specialized in a very unique way. I know with WoW Dragonflight, which, does have its little bit of shortcomings and flaws, but the one thing I did love about that expansion was that it updated the profession system finally to a degree that actually made you as a blacksmith feel like more than just a blacksmith. You can be a weaponsmith, an armor smith, you can specialize into specific weapon types, specific armor types. That's the kind of thing that I want Ashes of Creation to really pull from. And not just, of course, from World of Warcraft, but from Path of Exile. The one thing I did want to mention that Path of Exile does very, very well, and this is something that I would love to see from not just the talent tree and the professions, but also the augment system from the actual character talents themselves as well, is I want there to be different types of points. So you have your basic points, then you have your mid-tier points, and then you have your pinnacle points. Now in Path of Exile, you usually see these by different little graphics, along the circle. And that's sort of what I wanted to have, to where maybe if you have 4 pinnacle points in a profession tree, you can only have 2 pinnacle points that you can select from out of the 4, and that's just a very rough example, but you kind of catch my drift here. So that way you can have these different pinnacle points, mid-tier points, and then regular talent points. And then each kind of go into, maybe the regular talent points is more like generalized, maybe a little bit specific towards the category of that profession. And then these mid-tier points can go into that niche that do something a little bit more different, a little bit more, useful towards that particular niche. And then these pinnacle points do something really outrageous, something really cool and fun that allows you as a profession person to niche in a specific way, whether that's by adding more stats, maybe that's by, having a second socket for, jewel cutting, whatever the case is. I mean, you can kind of go wild with some of these things. But I just want to mention, regarding the talent system that we did see, it's of course all subject to change. This isn't any final iteration. The other thing I did want to mention about the talent system, or specifically the profession talent trees, is surveying. Surveying is something that was done in Star Wars Galaxies, where you put pylons on the floor to triangulate a certain area. Once you actually put these pylons to triangulate your area, you actually can discover rare resources within that pinpoints. And so for me, I think that's going to be very, very cool, because as you can see, right, whenever they were going through the corrupted area, you saw these huge ruby mines that you didn't need to survey that or anything. It's just open and for everyone to kind of see. But there might actually be certain resources that are maybe covered by magic. And once you put up these survey pylons, then the magic is uncovered, and now you see a new resource that you didn't see before. That's going to be really cool. The one bit of feedback that I have is that I think surveying should literally be its own thing. I'm not saying its own profession. I am not saying that surveying should be its own profession. I am saying that surveying should have its own talent tree, to where maybe each time you level a profession, you get one survey point and you get one talent point for your profession. And then you can have all of the 5 gathering professions, within the survey talent tree, and then you can choose what you want to put your survey point into, rather than putting in the, lumberjacking survey tree inside the lumberjacking tree itself. Because I don't know, for me, it would feel really terrible to put in your lumberjacking point into a surveying thing. You're not really, I just feel like the system kind of is counterintuitive to what you're actually trying to talent into for your professions. So that's the first bit of feedback I would give, is that I would literally make the survey talent tree its own thing. Don't lump them in with the other profession talent trees. And then once you can do that, you can just award 2 talent points, 1 survey, 1 regular talent point. But other than that, that's sort of like my kind of wish on wishes, is to kind of really see that, one, you can't spend all of your points, even as a grandmaster, with the talent trees, because you're going to be able to get these talent points, right, from 1 to 50. Now, you're also going to be able to get multiple different professions. So you're going to have 2 grandmaster, and then you're going to have 3 master, which is the other 2 are going to be the ones that you've already mastered to the grandmaster, right? So you basically have 1 additional master that you can get. Now, if you just wanted to put all of your talent points into the 2 grandmaster trees, then you have no additional talent points to spend for the master one or the other apprentice ones. Like, you're not going to have any talent points there. That I really, really, really like. It basically kind of forces you to, like, oh, I'm not really specialized in this thing. So then if you really want to get like the best thing of something, then you're going to try to find somebody who not only has the grandmaster in it, but they actually put their talent points in that as well, to really make them a fully fledged or very unique grandmaster on your server. And I think having all of these different variations is what's going to make you very reliant, not only on your guild, but also on your server. And I think that's what people really want to feel. They want to feel like they matter, and the decisions and the choices they made regarding their talent points towards their trees mattered. And that's the kind of world I really want to see. And I think Intrepid is really going to do something special, because again, look back at the character creator in Alpha 1, look at it when they showcased the brand new character creator. It was night and day. And my boy Corey, I think him and his team are doing a fantastic job making these talent trees, and also just with the professions in general. If you go look at Star Wars Galaxies, there were some very unique and very niche things you can do with professions that really made you kind of like the only player on the server potentially to have a certain way that you went about your talent tree, or how you went about getting recipes, or how you became known on that server for being the best of. That's the kind of stuff I really want Ashes to embrace, and I think we can kind of achieve it.